Hi there. Last video I have uploaded in this channel, it was about a year and a half ago, and the comments were very encouraging. I had like 8 comments, and thank you to all of the people who have commented on that. So I did it with the intention to keep rolling and keep uploading and talking about books, but I didn't. So I hope this time really catch on. What I like to do on this channel is to talk about books that you hardly ever hear about. Not the TikTokable or Instagrammable books, just pure literature. So if you are interested, welcome aboard. And that's actually the idea of today's video. It's about books that I bet you've never heard of, or at least you don't have in your bookshelf. So if you do, please let me know. The first book we have is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. Okay, that was a stupid joke that I had to get out of my system. It's not Crime and Punishment, otherwise I would have not called this video what I called it. But it's another work of Dostoevsky. It's The Crocodile. This is Dostoevsky in full satire and troll mode. So get this. A man, the protagonist, gets swallowed by a crocodile, then keeps talking from inside it. While everyone around him keeps worrying about the appearances and their jobs, then the fact that he is still inside a reptile, everyone uses the absurd to make themselves sound and look clever. What's fun actually as a modern reader is noticing how the ridiculous premise feels less outlandish than the human behavior. You always catch yourself laughing while reading it, then you realize he's actually skewering the kind of vanity and intellectual posturing that is still relevant in today's day. This is also a very short read. It's about 70 pages. I don't know about your translation. I have it in French. I have no idea what is it in English. So this is highly recommended. It's one of the most underrated Dostoevskys. The next book we have is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time. This one feels like being dropped into the mind of a teenager boy who's experiencing the world at full volume. The murder mystery hook with the dead dog gets you in the door, but what stayed with me was how Christopher's logical and literal way of thinking exposes how messy and dishonest the adults around him are. This book is full of numbers, diagrams, pictures, and maps, which would have felt out of place in any other novel. But since it's a mystery book and it's written by a teenager boy, not written by a teenager boy, but it's about a teenager boy, it totally makes sense. Because you just start rooting and cheering for him every time the world overwhelms him. It's the kind of novel when you finish, you suddenly find yourself looking at crowded streets and loud rooms a bit differently, wondering how many people are quietly overloaded like he is. I'm just realizing that the book I chose are all short novels. This one is about 220 pages. Next one is The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes. This one is about Tony, a harmless, polite older man, or at least what we think he is. He is the kind of person who you might actually know in reality, but as letters and documents resurface, you start reevaluating every memory he's shared. Then, just like that, the book starts and becomes a quiet psychological thriller about guilt and self-deception. The most unsettling part isn't the twist itself. It is the realization that anyone's life story, including yours, might be a careful remix of what actually happened. It is short, but it lingers like a difficult conversation you just can't stop replaying. This is again a short one, 150 pages. Julian Barnes is one of the most underrated writers of our time. The only bad thing about this book is its cover. Next book is The Pigeon by Süskind. This is actually the writer of The Perfume. I'm sure you've heard of the book, or at least the movie. This is one of those short books that actually makes you feel suffocated in a good way. You follow the life of a man whose life is perfectly, almost obsessively controlled until a single pigeon outside his door basically detonates his sense of safety. The first time reading it, there's this uncomfortable recognition that tiny things, an unexpected noise, or a change in routine can send you into a spiral. The novella leans into that feeling and never lets it go. It's like watching someone having the worst anxiety day of their life magnified into existential panic. If you've ever had ridiculously small things ruin my whole day kind of moments, this book feels disturbingly close to home. This book reminds me of a movie actually called After Hours by Martin Scorsese. So read this and watch the movie. The fifth and last one we have is Tonio Kröger by Thomas Mann. If you've read The Magic Mountain, you might be familiar with Thomas Mann. This one feels hard if you've ever been caught between just living a normal life and being creative. Tony looks at the sunny, well-adjusted people around him with this mix of envy and superiority. He wants their ease, but he can't help seeing everything with an artist's clarity. The story is quiet, no huge plot twist, but emotionally it sneaks up onto you. By the end, you're left with this bittersweet sense that being an artist means never actually and fully belonging anywhere. And yet, that outsider feeling is what actually fuels the art. It is the kind of book who actually makes you remember being a teenager, watching the popular kids and thinking, I want that, but also I don't. This video was a short one because it was more to make a contact with you than it is to recommend books. I mean, obviously, I try to recommend books that I assumed you've never heard of or at least read in the past. So if you have enjoyed this video, please make a comment and see you in the next one.